And I put about 75 empty beds last night.
This year to date, the homeless shelter has averaged 75 vacancies per night. So, I mean, there is room. You cannot go in there if you're drunk or if you're smelling of alcohol. So that's a problem. You know, if you regard alcoholism as an illness, what happens with these individuals? There's detox. Detox, we don't have enough beds. It's usually full, and then they're diverted to the emergency room. We have programs out there for individuals who want to abstain. We have programs out there for individuals who are still drinking. They can actually get in off the streets. And what we're stymied by right now is a lack of case management. I get the housing vouchers from HUD. Jack Freeman is getting 40 or 50 housing vouchers, and he's actually getting some money that will be able to be put toward getting veterans off the streets into basic housing and have case management. You know, Steve Hannon, I love Steve Hannon, he's a good friend of mine, but rather than give the guy a sleeping bag and make him a better equipped homeless person, I would love to have him have called 211 and said, how can we get some help for this mentally ill guy?
The problem with this is that Pikes Peak Mental Health takes them in, assesses them, turns them right back out on the street. Okay, that we know that's a problem. The other problem, though, is that these guys, and anybody, I don't know how many of you know about mental health issues, my family and I do, but the problem with some of these people who have bipolar and schizophrenia is that you can tell them about all this stuff, they don't get it, okay? And they don't understand the whole process. So there in itself lies an issue with getting them into the homeless shelters. You can't explain stuff. I have talked to several of them on the street here in town, only to have them 5 minutes later turn around and talk to a stop sign. So, you know, as far as getting them into the shelter, this becomes a whole different issue. And this is an issue, again, that goes back to mental health funding in the state of Colorado and in the city and in El Paso County.
In particular, there's $500,000 that comes through the Memorial Hospital. And other than that, the county is no longer contributing anything to that because of their financial
There's other budget problems here,
but that's today. I mean,
and that's today. Going on a badly run budget has affected all of us.
If one outgrowth of this story and then the editorial is that we suddenly get really upset about this thing and we get the people the help that they need,
yes, sir,
then this will be a wonderful event.
I think
if,
so.
on the other hand, if it totally concentrates on veterans, then it is something that this community, of all communities in the United States, cannot stand for a veteran being mistreated and abused. And that's why I haven't had a chance to talk to Jack Freeman yet. When I saw Rick's website today, what worried me is we don't know all the facts yet. And when we can get the facts, if we're making a mistake, as the city, if we're making a mistake with Keep Colorado Springs Beautiful, if we're doing something violating somebody's constitutional rights, then that has to stop. Well, and we'll correct it. But right now, we're reacting to 2 articles in the Gazette, one an article and one a editorial opinion, that are making a lot of assumptions that may or may not be borne out in fact. We're pushing right now.
I think there needs to be, and this is what I think is going to happen. I mean, I have not talked to Rick directly. I've exchanged emails with him, and what I have done is contact several organizations, and we'll do some more contacts with them, some people in the East, and I'm going to contact the Southern Poverty Law Center today and ask them if they're interested. This needs to be vetted in a courtroom. It will not do for the city to decide who did what. It will not do for the police department to decide whether they're guilty.
I agree.
This needs to be done in a court of law and needs to determine who is guilty and who is not. But you know, it's like sending me home to decide whether I've committed a crime. This is not going to work. So if we can do those things, I think it's a good thing. But I can tell you right here, and this is a promise from me, and I'm going to pursue this, as I pursued this and started this whole thing in the first place. If we find that the city fathers, and I'm talking about the city council and the mayor and these people are responsible for this, then I personally am going to start a recall on the mayor. So you can put that one in the paper.
Thank you very much. Jerry, are you, I mean, mistreatment and abuse of veterans, we're all very concerned about that. How about mistreatment and abuse of a non-veteran? Whatever.
Abuse and mistreatment of any citizen is unacceptable.